Today's video is going to be different. Today, we look at not one location, but two, as, given their size, they wouldn't warrant a whole video for each. The first of the two locations we shall look at is a sad one, a lonely one, all the way out here in the relative emptiness of the Commonwealth. A lone cabin with a wrecked car, a small area with a sad tale to tell. This is the Ranger Cabin, and is a place, I am sure, that was the first story many of us came across as we emerged from Vault 111. The cabin itself is an old United States Forest Service cabin. A major goal of this organization was keeping forest fires under control, which is a little ironic given both it and much of the surrounding area were bathed in nuclear fire. A small pool of water lies under the cabin, and from the supports at each corner it must have been made this way. I find this odd as there was flatter ground just beside here, so why build it over an area with water? Bloatflies and even some blood bugs now nest here, ready to harass the shit out of us for stepping onto their turf. Arseholes that they are. The abandoned car outside suggests that someone was here when the bombs fell, and that it's unlikely that they managed to get away before they did. As we head inside, we can find out who. The fact that it was built right beside a large electrical pylon is also strange, but perhaps we will find out the answer to these queries inside. Ignoring the body for now, we can take a look at the left of the cabin. A lot of it is now overgrown, but a table is still here, and the nearby hot plate likely once rested on it. This means that it was in use probably just before the war. A rep bed can also be found here, though the mattress is absent from it. It's been dragged into the corner by a girl who now lies there, dead. So the bed may have been wrecked when she got there. The suitcase contains a holotape for us, identifying her as a runaway, which explains the clean dress that she never got to wear. Now, let's listen to the tape.
October 22nd, 2077. I finally told them tonight, and it was bad. Real bad. Dad was shouting, telling me I should be ashamed, that I had to get out of the house. Mom just cried, and somehow that hurt worse than anything else. She didn't say a word, not even when I packed my things. I can't go to John. He doesn't even know yet. Maybe he'll never know. If it weren't for the cabin, I wouldn't have a place to sleep. Just need some time to think. Last time I was here, I was just a little girl playing clubhouse in this old cabin. Now I'm really scared. Will anything ever be right again?
So getting the obvious out of the way, she ran away on Friday the 22nd of October, the night before the bombs hit. From her position, she likely died here in her sleep. She says that the last time she was in this cabin was as a little girl, and that even then it had been old and abandoned, which means it's even older than we thought. This also explains the pylon, as it was probably built long after this cabin was abandoned. Why it was, I am not sure. Perhaps the Forest Service was retired in a way, or another cabin was set up elsewhere. Her holotape talks about a fight between her and her parents. Whatever she did, it was clearly bad enough for them to, however temporarily, sort of disown her, and that they were ashamed of her. She came to this cabin to sleep and gather her thoughts. She also mentioned a boy called John, stating that he doesn't know and likely never would. I think it's likely that she was pregnant, presumably by this fellow John, and that when she told her parents, they did not take it well. She says John may never know, which could mean three things. One is that she was planning on fleeing and raising the child by herself. Two is adoption. Perhaps she meant to lay low somewhere until she could have the child, put it up for adoption, and then return. Option 3 is an abortion, which seems the likeliest as she was not prepared for the other two, resources-wise. Although I'm not sure what the stance on abortion was in the Fallout universe. A small story, but a dark one, taking place in a small cabin in what was once the woods. A girl, likely a teenager, found out she was pregnant, and of course her parents acted like absolute pisspots and banished her from their home, like good parents do. She ended up in this cabin, and it was here, scared and alone, that atomic fire took her. Our second destination actually takes us very close to a previous video's area, Swan's Pond, which had a surprisingly deep story to it. However, today, our final area is of a slightly higher class, and is located in this building here. It is the Boylston Club, a place for the rich and wealthy, a place for a higher form of prick to dwell. Let's gander. Directly in the door is a rack for the hats that perched on the domes, likely bald and reflective of the shitlords who came here. An umbrella stands here as well, beside a bin, which in my opinion is a bad idea as the two are easy to mix up. A velvet rope and podium stand in front of those. I have no doubt that it was here where names were scrutinized, many of which probably had numbers in the titles. A lot of art also adorns this corridor, and other showings of the extravagance of this place. Then, we take the elevator up to the next floor. So to the left, we find more fancy art and things in which one rests their hoop, and some wine, which becomes important later. Opposite that, we find a pool table that seems to have been abandoned before the game was finished. We find the reason for this when we look at these stairs. Everybody dead. Like, literally all of them are dead, and I'm assuming they are all men, as not one dress can be found among them. It seems they all enjoyed a lovely drink before they died. Indulgent arseholes. Even their skeletons do not have the politeness to stay dead and immobile. How dare they wave at me. A few more good old boys can be found in this corner here, and it seems the blast took them while they were all chilling out, and two enjoying some fine wine. At least I assume it was. Or a wee cigar that somehow did not burn the place down when they dropped them, even though they were likely lit when they did so. In the last corner, we find the rest of the Egypts in this area. One of them had so much jungle juice he fell out of his chair, shitty bowler hat lying on the ground beside him. It seems they all wanted to enjoy this wine, and we shall see why soon. Also, who the fuck boarded up the windows? Up the stairs, we find three more patrons, and someone who I assume was either the bartender or a named individual we shall soon see. Either way, they are all dead. Fine wine nearby. And naked? I really hope their clothes just wasted away, because if not, for fuck's sake, we can find all the casks that likely contained the fine wine here, behind the bar, probably brought in for whatever this occasion was. We can start solving some of this mystery by accessing the terminal here. The first entry is on their membership policy. I am sure it is fair and non-discriminatory, so current and former presidents, all manner of government officials, military, legitimate mailers, because we can't have the women folk or the bastards getting in, now can we? The last part is essentially anyone they deem famous enough. Now you probably think the fee was very high, but remember, inflation was fucking ridiculous back then. With today's rates, this would probably be a lot lower, but I am not sure how low exactly. But yeah, they had an exclusive list. The next entry is on their October calendar, the month the bombs dropped. So on the 5th they were trying some lovely cigars. And I can't remember, but didn't America annex Canada at this point? Not cool. The next is a dinner with some governor, who we find in the State House, but more on him in a later video. The second last is on wines of Asia, with a bit of casual racism thrown in there. The final entry is dated a week after the bombs hit, and added the day after, a final toast for anyone able to make it, which I assume means anyone with a pulse, which means that all these people here didn't die when the bombs hit, but during the toast. The holotape entitled as such tells us more.
It's closing time, gentlemen. If any of you have changed your mind, it's time to go. James will see you out. No one? Very well. Gentlemen, it has been an honor and a privilege. Before we drink, allow me to offer a final toast. To the world that was, mankind shall never see its like again.
So Richard Bradford was given a speech to go with the wine, a toast. He gave each member a choice to leave, and someone called James could show them out, likely the fellow serving behind the bar. No one took the option to leave. These were all men who'd managed to survive the bombs hitting. Then they drank. Now they all died shortly after they had done so. All of them, which is really strange, until we actually take a look at one of the bottles of wine. As you can see, some of them were poisoned. That means that they likely drank from the poisoned ones, then partook of the normal ones to have something to enjoy as they died. So this was an exclusive gentleman's club, only for the rich and wealthy, the esteemed. No women or commoners allowed, it would seem. All the men in this room survived the bombs dropping, and made it back here at the behest of the flyers that were probably thrown about the place. The possible leader of the club, Richard Bradford, had them all take part in a toast. Though he did give them an out, none took it. They all drank a lovely Merlot, though some of the bottles were poisoned, but they all knew that. They didn't want to live in this world, this ruined world, stripped of all their wealth and privilege. I wonder how many of them left families behind. Today, we looked at 2 stories. However, despite the number of dead, the first with the runaway is the sad one. She wanted to live, and was taken by the bombs. These gentlemen survived, but they were too cowardly, and instead chose a death that they didn't deserve. The tales of a scared girl and a group of rich assholes. I hoped you liked this look at all of it. If you did like it, give the video a like, and if you want regular updates, subscribe. Any suggestions for lower or future videos should be left in the comments below. Better yet, go onto my subreddit, so we discuss them in more detail. It's linked in the description. If you wish to, you can support me on Patreon, £1 or $1, I ask for no more. Any rewards you would like to see there that I don't have, message me and I will take a look. Follow me on Twitter or Facebook to get regular updates, or have a wee chat. Any business you wish to discuss, email me at thenthapple.business@gmail.com, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. I hope you enjoyed the episode, and I hope to see you in the next one. And until then, goodbye.